Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make ambient samples for Gunna or Wheezy. The sample is super simple, really nothing crazy, but that's why it's perfect for somebody like Gunna, just because of how simple it is. The sample is from one of my most recent sample packs called SLATT Vol.3. It has 20 samples like this in the style of Young Thug, YSL, Gunna, Pyrex, etc. A lot of guitar, a lot of flute, and it has 20 bonus MIDIs as well. So I'll leave a link in the description for that if you're interested. But yeah, as always, I'm going to go in and I'm going to break down the sample, show my process and everything I did to make it. So hopefully you learned something new. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and let's get right into it. Alright, so I got the final sample pulled up here. We're sitting at 160 BPM and the final sample is in F minor. But as you can see at the very end, I pitched it down 2 semitones. So everything that we made up here while I was making the sample is in G minor. And then, like I said, I pitched it down 2 at the end. So everything that we're going to be going over is in G minor, and I'm going to go ahead and just play the sample so you can hear how it sounds, and then go ahead and just break down everything that I did. Yeah, the bass at certain points was cutting off. That's just an error with Contact. It wasn't supposed to do that. But other than that, you can hear the sample is very simple but very ambient, very unique sounding. Definitely sounds like a Gunna melody. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go in and break down everything that I did to make it. Alright, so the first thing that I did is I found this preset from Analog Lab called Label ARP. I knew I wanted an ambient sound for the first sound in the sample, so I just pulled up Analog Lab and just went through the different presets until I found one that sounded good. And then once I had the sound, I came up with this pattern right here. Like I said, we're in G minor, so I started with the root note, and then I kind of just went with what sounded good to my ear. There was really no music theory knowledge behind it, but the notes just kind of arpeggiate and go up and down. So we have the G up to A sharp, D, G, D, and then, yeah, like I said, it goes up and down, and then towards the end, the root note drops down from G to D sharp, and then back up to F right here, and then for the second part, it just repeats. For the effects, you can see I have 2 different half times. And that's because the sound itself is an ARP. I added this halftime at 100%, so it sounds like this. And then I added one more halftime at 25%, so it sounds like this. Yeah, you can kind of hear the second halftime just in the background. But for the other effects, I just EQ'd a lot of the low end, some of the high end, added some fresh air, make it sound a little bit more clean. I added Echo Boy for some delay, some Finisher Micro for that high end, RC20 for some wobble, Valhalla Vintage Verb for reverb, and as you can see there's a lot of that. Like I said, the sample is really ambient. Some Imager to make it more wide, and then another EQ to EQ out even more of the low end. And then the second thing that I did for this sample is I pulled up another sound from Analog Lab called the Granular Marimba. So again, I just went through Analog Lab and just found a sound that sounded good. And then what I did is I half-timed it twice again, but I added both half-times at 100%. And I just copied the same exact pattern over to this sound. So I'll play it without the half-times, and I'll turn the half-times on so you can hear the difference. So yeah, with both the halftimes you can hear is really ambient, and it's just kind of like it's almost a pad just in the background. But for the other effects, I just EQ'd out a lot of the low end and a lot of the high end. Basically EQ'd out everything except the middle. Added fresh air again, some reverb, some vintage tape to make it sound a little bit more distorted and just kind of add some texture to it. Some tremolator to make it go in and out, and then another EQ taking out a lot of the lows and a lot of the highs again, and some harsh frequencies. So this is what that sounds like. So yeah, as you can see, just throughout the sample, I have it kind of going back and forth with the pattern that's pitched down and then pitched up. So yeah, just to add some different variants throughout the sample, make it a little bit more unique. And the last thing that I did for this sample is I pulled in some textures and I added a bass. So for the textures, I just found them in a one-shot kit, and I wanted to add more of a vinyl effect. So I have two here. I have this hiss texture, just adds a lot of high end, and then this vinyl texture adds some of that vinyl crackle. And then for the bass, I pulled up this contact bank right here, and I laid down this pattern just following the root note of the sample and adding these little stutter notes here to make it sound a little bit unique. I'll go ahead and play how that sounds. And then at the end, I just took the same notes here and pitched it up an octave and then pulled this note down to D instead of F. Alright, so once I had all the sounds picked out, I just arranged it how I usually do, where I have different sections at the beginning and then I have the stems at the end, so that if people want to just chop from the sample, they can do that, or they can use the stems and arrange it how they want. But for this sample, I just arranged it how I usually do, with everything going all at the beginning with the bass, so that when people click on it to preview it, they have, you know, the most going on, so that they know what the sample sounds like. And it just sounds interesting. And then for the second part of that, I just pitched up these two sounds, so the bell and the pad. I just copied it over, pitched both of them up an octave, just to add some variation and some movement to the sample. And then for the second part here, the guitar and the bass drops out, so it's just the pad and it's just the bell. And then again, the second half is pitched up an octave. And then at the very end, I just copied over the same pattern right here and took the bass out, so that people who do choose to just chop the sample, they have a section with the bass and a section without, so they can use it with or without, whatever they want. And then yeah, like I said, always add the stems at the end so that people can arrange it however they want. And then yeah, I rendered it out as an audio file and brought it back in, put it to its own mixer track. I added some fresh air to boost some of the highs, and then an EQ to take out more of the lows and some of the harsh frequencies. And then I pitched it down from G minor to F minor, and then I made sure to pitch down the bass from G minor to F minor as well to make it fit. And then that's pretty much it for the sample. For the master, I just added a compressor, and then I used Maximus to boost the volume. Usually like to have the samples peaking around -3 dB so that they're nice and loud, so that when people click to preview them, they just sound really full and it just sounds a lot better. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this sample. Like I said, the sample is a part of a sample pack that I just dropped called SLATT Vol.3. I'll leave a link down in the description for that pack if you're interested. It has 20 samples all in the same style and 20 bonus MIDIs as well. So yeah, hopefully you learned something from this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.